Meow. What's up, you guys? I'm back. It's me, Maywee, and welcome for some more cinema. Yeah, we're talking about movies again. So, last time we talked about Troll 2, the ill-fated yet ultimately hilarious movie that I wholeheartedly recommend. That movie is honestly just mwah, chef's kisses. But today we're gonna change pace a little bit, and we're gonna essentially talk about a movie that is the polar opposite of Troll 2. Because where Troll 2 was essentially like a sincere attempt at making a movie that just kinda went haywire, this movie is kind of supposed to be bad by virtue of the genre that it sits in. And ultimately, I think it's quite fair to say that this movie fails in every single conceivable way. And as such, almost isn't really a movie. It's almost just a nonsensical series of flashbacks, terrible green screen, and then like a bunch of dialogue that was 100% written by someone or a group of bros who were just off their face. So today we are talking about the 2009 sexploitation film Bitchslap. So the movie starts with a quote from Joseph Conrad a la Criminal Minds, you know, like when someone just kind of like reads off a quote that like kind of maybe has something to do with the overarching story that they were trying to tell, in part probably because they don't trust their audience to understand it unless it's really spelled out to them. That. And the quote's something about, you know, the terrible nature of man, or whatever the fuck. But we immediately cut to a roaming shot of our main character's breasts. Breast, nipple, fun bags. And to be completely honest, within the first 30 seconds, I understood that this movie was not going to be about the acting. I didn't have to go searching for that one. That one came to me. We have our lead actress who is essentially sitting amongst a pile of rubble and then delivers a line. I think it was like, "How did it come to this?"
How did it come to this?
I'm hurt, but sexy. It was very like porno acting. So pretty much immediately I was like, oh, very clearly this is a sexploitation film. Like I didn't know that going in. I kind of thought with a title like Bitchslap, it was gonna be, you know, almost like Heathers, kind of like a high school Mean Girls type of thing. But no, it's a sexploitation film. Great, love it. Love sexploitation films. As a gay. But there is a very particular style of acting that needs to carry that type of film. Like, think of the really good sexploitation films that have come out over the past, I don't know, decade. You know, you've got like Grindhouse, Planet Terror, Sin City. The actors in it are very good. Like Rose McGowan and Jessica Alba were both delivering what I think was supposed to be delivered in this movie, but they're good actors. This, yeah, not so much. But, you know, at least in the opening sequence, the effects are decent and the camera work is smooth, so I'm kind of into it. And then we cut to the title sequence, and this title sequence is a gay boy's dream. Oh my God, this title sequence, I have to give it to them, is fantastic. It is essentially just a sexy, big titty lady montage with all of the grand dame sexploitation legends just kind of like thrown in there. You've got Betty Page, you've got Laurie Williams, and the music that goes along with it. Like they've done an original score for the title. It's like, stiletto heels, bitches on wheels, looks that kills, yeah. Bitches in bras, super fast cars, electric guitars, yeah. It's giving very that energy. Come on, soundtrack by John Williams. Honestly, unironically giving me life. Maybe in a different video, maybe later, but there is a very thin line, very thin often white line between what is often referred to as like gay sentiments and things that, you know, queer people really gravitate towards, and things that are supposed to be super macho. 1985 Commando, gay as hell. Think of it like playing a fighting game when you're playing Tekken. The gays tend to gravitate towards playing Ling Xiao Yu or Nina because they're, you know, fabulous femme fatales. You know, they're these larger than life, exuberant, extra feminine women. I don't want to be with you, but I do want to be you. It's like that type of thing. And this movie is just so gay. It is so fucking gay. And I'm like 100% sure that this was just made by a bunch of horny bros who were like titties and bitches. But oh my god, is this movie gay. So we get into the movie, and essentially, 3 sexy ladies get out of a car. It's all in slow motion, and one of them is told to go and check inside the trailer. So she does that, and whilst doing that, she also like takes a pill, and like immediately as she takes it, has this weird orgasmic grabbing herself moment. And I was just sat there like, girl, that thing has barely reached your esophagus. There is no way you're feeling any effects of whatever the fuck you've just taken. Like, you're gonna need to wait at least, like 20 minutes for that to digest? But okay, sure, fine. You know what? Go on with your bad self. You're clearly enjoying grabbing something. But I have to say, I was surprised by the lack of a blonde in this movie. Usually, you know, it's the redhead, the brunette, and the blonde. But here we have the redhead, the brunette, and the black-haired lady. They said, no, we're not doing Charlie's Angels today. Stepping outside your comfort zone, making us think things. So after checking in the RV, the girls open the back of the car. And wouldn't you know it, oops, there's a man in there. And almost immediately, the brunette, she just starts throwing hands. She's going buck wild, and she also spits out this line.
Stay down, dick splash!
We then find out that the black-haired lady from like the opening scene is called Boom Boom, which, is that on your birth certificate? Is it like Boom Boom Gilbert, Boom Boom O'Callahan? Is that like a first name, middle name kind of situation? Or maybe it's like a hyphenated first name. So, you know, like Madonna is just Madonna. She's just like Boom Boom hyphenated. Or maybe it's just Boom Boom, one word. I just want to know. So the guy in the trunk who is wearing nothing but an open kimono and a thong with a lion on it. Love that. Fantastic wardrobe options. So the guy in the trunk tells the redhead that she is... Okay. A tight little minge that he would like to slam like a screen door.
Who the fuck are you? Apart from one tasty little minge I'd like to slam like a screen door.
And who said romance was dead? So the redhead very dramatically asks where it is. And he tells her to go fuck herself. And then we're introduced to the brunette who took the pills earlier, and she finally gets a name. It is Camaro. Vroom vroom. She's very clearly like the muscle of the group. I'm not exactly sure what she does here, you know, like anatomically speaking. All I know is that it looks exceedingly painful and made me clench my butthole in sympathetic pain.
Where's the goods?
God, don't do that. No. There's then some gun fellatio a la James Franco in Spring Breakers.
How about you slap my knob, huh?
But I think this movie came first, so I'm pretty sure this is maybe where they got it from. And then, just to really drive home that Camaro is that bitch, she crushes this guy's fingers inside the door of the boot of the car. And that is definitely one of Camaro's traits. She just has absolutely zero chill about anything ever. Boom Boom then asks them not to kill him, and Camaro responds that she is the reason that he's here in the first place. And then we enter into the first of many flashbacks into a not at all green screened classic car garage. And Boom Boom is crying, and Camaro essentially says that this is all her fault and that they will never find it now because everything has been destroyed and it's all Boom Boom's fault. Boom Boom then just like spits out some random numbers and says that Gage, which is the guy in the trunk, he finally gets a name, so thank you, wrote it on some kind of desert picture from space, and that she knows the numbers are definitely right because she has a photojournalistic memory. Which, girl, you have a photographic memory, yet you don't know the words photographic memory or satellite. I guess Boom Boom just built different. But the redhead, who still doesn't have a name, figures out straight away that they are coordinates. But then the flashback ends and we cut back to the desert where Gage grabs Boom Boom and tells the girls that he wants the keys to the car and the gun. Otherwise, Boom Boom's gonna get it. And in response to this, Camaro shoots off his nutsack.
You fucking whore! You blew off my teabag!
We are 11 minutes and 50 seconds into this movie, and I have already clenched my beautiful brown butt cheeks in sympathetic pain so many times. Good God. And incidentally, Camaro also refers to Boom Boom as Blow White, which I think would be a fantastic drag name. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Lestage, Blow White. Gage then tells them that they don't know who they're dealing with and that they're way over their head because he takes orders from someone called Pinky. And Camaro and Red are like immediately afraid. They're like, no, Pinky. But after another beating from Camaro, Gage tells them that what they're looking for is buried just 15 feet away, like over by the RV type thing that Camaro went to check in the first couple of scenes. And then Red just tells Camaro to tie him up and put him back in the trunk. I'm not gonna lie, I was kind of under the impression that getting your nutsack blown off and, being beaten may cause some severe blood loss and, maybe death, but apparently that's not a concern here.
Yes, queen! Yes, queen! Yes, queen!
You know what that sound is? It's our homophobia alert! Yay! This is something that I decided to implement after the last few movies, which have all kind of had a, pretty overt, just kind of like fuck the gays moment. So I just thought it would be cute, who's gonna add it? Well, it's a little fun game that we'll play, just a few of us. So there's actually a fair amount of references to Camaro being a lesbian, and actually a fair amount of lesbianism in this movie in general, but it's never really all that derogatory. It is definitely like fetishized and definitely, objectified, but that kind of comes with the genre. Gage tells Camaro that she is better at following orders than a Bangkok bum boy. And I'm not gonna lie, it did get a laugh out of me. It's kind of funny, okay? Give me a break. But then Gage just has to open his big mouth and tell everybody that Camaro was at Glory Hole that night and that she is the reason that Liberty was killed. Literally none of that makes any sense in the grand context of really anything. Whatever. It's just some expository bullshit for later. We'll circle back. But before he can say anything else, Camaro just shoots him through the head. Well, technically kind of like diagonally through the neck up into the head. But yeah, anyway, she kills him. Along with the line, "So long, limp dick." I think Camaro is probably my favorite character in this entire movie. She has some cracking one-liners. But may I remind you that we are still under the 15-minute mark. Hour and a half to go. So we enter another flashback and we cut to Boom Boom in another not at all green screened room. Sidebar. Apparently Boom Boom's real name is Trixie, but I far prefer Boom Boom, so I'm gonna call her Boom Boom. And she is essentially about to get violated by Gage with whatever this is. In to quote, her chutney tube, which I have no idea where that is, because she was apparently trying to rob him. But she is saved by Camaro, who flies through the window on like a rope a la George of the Jungle. The CGI on this legitimately had me crying with laughter. Oh, and we finally get a name for the redhead. Camaro calls her Hell, which I'm pretty sure is short for Helen. So the redhead's name is Helen. We then jump straight into another flashback in which Boom Boom is just doing a striptease for Gage. And can we just take a moment to appreciate this effect?
Try this one on for size.
I don't like it here. Gage then admits that he loves Boom Boom and wants to marry her and ride the pork train to Tuna City, whatever that means, I'm guessing sex, just as Boom Boom drugs him. How romantic. Flashback then ends, and oh my god, this movie is already far too full of flashbacks. If you would like to initiate a drinking game where you take a shot every time there is a flashback, I assure you, you will be in the ICU by the end of this. Like, you will be in intensive care. This movie is far too full of flashbacks. Everything is a goddamn fucking flashback. So then Gage's cell phone starts to ring and he's getting a call with an LA area code. And the girls are scared that, oh my god, it could be tracked. But they don't have time to think about that now, because they have some digging to do. Boom Boom then asks who this Pinky person is that they've been talking about. And Red, her name is Helen, but I'll probably call her Red just because it's easier, tells Boom Boom that Pinky is a notorious underground criminal who has got links to all the bad things in the world, you know, terrorism, weapons smuggling, drug smuggling, all that kind of stuff. And like when the response is being given, the camera just like very clearly pans in on Boom Boom. So immediately I was like, oh yeah, okay, she's Pinky. And well, I guess I'll have to wait and see. And then Camaro tells Boom Boom that Pinky is the devil himself and that she once saw him take out 50 Russians with nothing but a samurai sword. More slow motion digging, lots of close-ups on titties. And then Camaro spots a car in the distance. A police car pulls up, and then Red, in an attempt to cover their tracks, you know, because they have a dead body in their trunk, essentially launches into this story about how they're an all-girls choir and that they were supposed to be performing a nearby town, but that the congregation that they were going to tried to fondle their num-nums and made one of the girls spit communion crackers out of. A rare instance of good writing in this movie. I thought it was amusing. Painted a very vivid picture.
They tried to fondle our num-nums and even convinced Bambi Lynn to shoot communion wafers out of her.
Also, the police officer's name is Officer Fuchs, spelled F-U-C-H-S. Officer Fuchs. But the Grills manage to flirt their way out of trouble, and, of course, we have another flashback. So we find out that about a week ago, Hell actually engineered Boom Boom's introduction to Gage while she was wearing a slutty stripper angel costume.
I'm Trixie. Your little slice of heaven.
Unbeknownst to all the girls, Officer Fuchs was also there that night. She's supposed to have a photojournalistic memory, but I guess she didn't remember that. So this flashback ends, and then we pretty much go straight into another flashback. And this time we're with Camaro in yet another not at all green screened environment, but this time she's at a fight club, and Camaro essentially stabs a guy in the dick and says that she's looking for Gage. and then gets into a fight with this exceedingly flexible Japanese lady who she proceeds to punch in the cunt. So, sympathetic pains, sympathetic agony. For some reason, and legitimately out of nowhere, the girls just have lots of cantinas of water and have like a sexy water fight where they just randomly start rubbing on each other and, being super sexy. Never mind the fact that there's just a fully dead body with its dick shot off in your boot. No, now's a great time to have a water fight. Whilst digging, the girls discover a dead body, which Red seems to know, and the dead body has a cell phone on it, which is also getting a call from the same people who called Gage, which is to say Pinky or Pinky's affiliates. Boom Boom and Red then suddenly, out of nowhere, just start making out with each other, and it is gratuitous. It is a session. Items of clothing are being torn open, legs are going up in places, fingers are going places, people are eating lunch, if you know what I'm saying. They're really going at it. And in the middle of this makeout session, we have to have another goddamn fucking flashback in which we find out that Red and Boom Boom actually have a pre-existing relationship, and that it was actually Helen who recruited Boom Boom to this kind of girl squad in the first place. Cut back to the current timeline, and Camaro walks in on them, smashing pasties, and she's just immediately pissed. So Camaro is really annoyed that Helen didn't tell her that her and Boom Boom were doing the Boom Boom, and she punches Helen in the face and then goes outside and takes another one of her crazy pills that make her touch herself. And whilst on the floor from Camaro's punch to the face, Red finds that there is a massive weapons cache under the floor. And it's just filled with a load of heavy duty machine guns, a rocket launcher type thing, guns. She goes outside to try and find Camaro, but oh my god, Camaro has been taken out by whomst? Well, by the Japanese lady who she cunt punched earlier in the movie, and the dude who she stabbed in the dick. You know what, fair enough. Guess you kind of had this one coming to you, didn't you, Camaro? They have been tracking them, and they have heard of Gage's treasure, and that they want it for themselves. Cut to another flashback, and I have to be honest with you guys, this is the point where the movie really started to lose me. It was just flashback after flashback after flashback after flashback. And the flashbacks, a lot of them didn't really even add anything. All they added was telling us that these people know each other, which, guess what? We already know by virtue of the fact that they're all in the same goddamn motherfucking place. It turns out that Red and Camaro also had a pre-existing relationship. They were lovers in prison, and that Camaro told Red that she would split $200 million worth of diamonds with her if she helped her get out of prison, which of course she did. I mean, I suppose at the very least it explains why Camaro is here, because she is trying to get hold of the diamonds from Gage, who she killed. The flashback ends, and for some reason the Japanese lady is riding Boom Boom like a pony. They're all kind of held hostage, and Red and Camaro are made to dig in the desert to try and find the treasure. And boom, they find what they're looking for. It's like a little safe type thing, buried underground, and for some reason, Helen, Red, knows the code, which I guess she wasn't supposed to or shouldn't have known. Suspicions are mounting on Helen. But before the Japanese lady and her boyfriend can kill the gang, they are interrupted by the policeman from earlier in the movie who came back to check on the girls. He is immediately dispatched by the Japanese lady and her yo-yo of death. There's another fight scene between Camaro and the lady's boyfriend. They are both killed by Camaro, who delivers this somewhat racially insensitive finishing line.
Fortune cookies say, future not so bright.
Camaro then clocks that Helen really should not have known the code to that safe, and boop, Helen knocks out Camaro. The girls are fighting! Whilst Helen is dealing with Camaro, Boom Boom has an intimate moment with the cop inside the RV, and we find out that in order to deal with Camaro, Red just chained her up like a dog. Like, she really just said, no, bitch, get in your cage. It's at this point that I got so sick of all the flashbacks that I am going to skip every single flashback unless it adds something to the plot. And then Helen and Boom Boom open the little lockbox safe thing that they found underground, and it turns out that it's the entrance to a hidey hole. Gage had apparently been stealing from his boss Pinky for years, and that he had amassed weapons and various things that he'd taken, including what Red was looking for, and a samurai sword which Boom Boom wants to keep. If you remember earlier, the really, really, really unsubtle foreshadowing that Pinky once killed 50 Russians with a samurai sword. Well, if you didn't put this one together, okay, I guess the movie still wants us to pretend that there's any element of suspense in this, so let's continue. Red says that it's time for them to disappear. She also takes this other little device thing, which is very clearly what she actually came for. But, oops, Camaro got loose whilst they were, inside that hole, and now it's time for Red and Camaro to duke it out. So they have a very long fight sequence during which, I'm about to say this out loud, Camaro sets Boom Boom on fire.
Fire in your hole.
Somehow, Boom Boom is just not burnt, but okay. Camaro actually wins the fight between her and Red and gets the diamonds and starts to drive away, only to have the car that she is driving be shot with a bazooka by Red that she got from inside the RV. And honestly, the movie was really losing me at this point. Like, it was really dragging its ass. I was just like, okay, you got shot with a bazooka. Great. But you remember I mentioned a fire. Yeah, the fire that Camaro had set did end up exploding the RV with the Officer McSexy, whatever his name was, still supposedly locked inside. More flashback fuckery in which we find out that Red is indeed a spy with the codename Foxy69, and her actual mission was to recover a nano-robo-virus that was inside a tube that could essentially suck the carbon out of any living life form. It's total sense. Red then admits to Boom Boom that she loves her and that she is the thing that, she's been missing her entire life. And now that she has the diamonds and this weapon thing, she doesn't have to, spy or whatever anymore. She can retire, and the two of them can go and live on an island together with Boom Boom's daughter. But, oh no! Turns out, despite getting shot with a rocket launcher / bazooka thing, Camaro's not dead. Because you just can't keep a good bitch down. And we have another fight scene between her and Red. Camaro wins again. And this time she shoots Boom Boom. Boom Boom got boom boomed. and subdues Red by essentially choking the ever-loving shit out of her. Camaro then tries to rape Boom Boom, only for Camaro to realize that she had already had sex with Boom Boom at a carnival show several years ago. I couldn't really tell whilst watching it if that added anything to the plot, but essentially that distracts Camaro enough that she, stops trying to do that. And then, surprise of surprise, Camaro is shot by the cop who survived the explosion of the RV, because no one in this movie will just fucking die. And then Boom Boom takes a ninja throwing star out of her underwear, throws it into Officer Fox's chest, killing him. I'm sorry, I'm editing this video and I must have been tired or something because I did not make a single joke about her having a ninja throwing pussy. Like, how did she keep a ninja throwing star up her pussy for this entire movie? What? Did Red not feel that when they were smashing pasties like 5 minutes ago? Ay, ay, ay. At which point, Red wakes up from being beaten to death, because that's, something you can wake up from, and sees that Boom Boom just, killed the cop, and she's like, what the fuck? And, of course, it is then revealed that Boom Boom has been Pinky all along. Shocker. There's then another extended flashback sequence where we find out that the reason everybody was talking about the glory hole earlier in the movie was because Camaro stole the diamonds from Gage at a casino called the Glory Hole, but then there was loads of cops and SWAT there because Gage was trying to sell this nano weapon, and Foxy69 aka Red was there undercover and tried to stop it but couldn't, and then the casino exploded. And that is also the same night that Pinky decided to kill everybody with a samurai sword. We then cut back to Red and Boom Boom, and Boom Boom explains that she engineered all of this to get her sword back because Gage stole it, and also because she likes watching women fight. At that point, I literally sat there, and this is the end of the movie. This is the villain giving her why I did what I did, and I was so, what's the word, befuddled. Is that a word? I feel that's a word, right? Yeah. This was entirely unnecessary. You were Gage's boss. You could have just told him to give you the sword back. You knew he had it. Just have him give it you back. What? Red then tells Boom Boom that she's crazy. Boom Boom just laughs, and then limousine hearse appears with her daughter in it, and the two of them leave, whilst Red is just kind of sat there in the dirt. That is essentially how the movie ends. So, after watching this movie, I was so confused because literally none of this needed to happen. This was entirely unnecessary and made no sense. There was no way she could have predicted that anything would play out like this. She got set on fire, she got shot. None of this reads as a planned out thing whatsoever. And also, not for nothing, but when the villain's mission statement in a movie is, I just did it because I'm crazy. Ooh. You really have to have more of a story to actually keep someone engaged. Because by the end of it, I was just sat there really? Is that it? You wasted my time. And it's ultimately really to the movie's detriment because all of the kind of conflama and drama really just doesn't lead anywhere. So by the end of it, you're kind of bored because everything is just kind of boom, kapow, explosion, kapow, boom, kapow. And absolutely nothing is happening that you care about or can relate to because there is no plot. Okay, so final thoughts. So let's just start off with this. Did I like this movie? It's kind of hard to say because ultimately I just think it fails at being a movie, and I kind of also think that it fails in just doing what it intended to do. I think it kind of intended to be like a sexy fun romp, but I don't think straight guys would like this. And the gays will only like the first 10, maybe 15 minutes of it, which is where I think this movie's strength lies. First 10 to 15 minutes are honestly quite fun. The opening sequence is good, and I think in general, the kind of first act is kind of campy, kind of fun. But once that wears off, once that novelty wears off, this movie doesn't have anything to keep it going. It doesn't have anything to sustain itself. And as such, it kind of almost like cannibalizes itself. Like, you get so bored of the same thing happening again and again and again and again and again that you kind of become numb to it after a while. It's like trauma. Like, after a certain point, you're just kind of like, eh. And honestly, I think that this movie is a prime example of why, like, crazy for crazy's sake just does not work in a film format, maybe save some very specific circumstances, but you kind of leave this movie feeling like it wasted your time. Like, you sat through 2 hours of this bombastic bullshit just for the kind of end to be because I wanted my sword back, which I could have asked for, and also just because, and that's just kind of a letdown. That's just kind of not a satisfying payoff for the audience. So I think all in all, my kind of general overview is, if you're bored, maybe you're having a couple of bevies, you should watch probably the first 10 to 15 minutes of this movie, 20 at a push. After that, just maybe have it on as background noise or do something else, like go do your nails, suck a dick, literally anything else. Okay guys, thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video and I hope you liked the look. If you did, please make sure to leave a like, comment and subscribe. You can find links to all of my socials in the description box down below. And until next time, kisses from England. Bye guys!